You were born with a voice. Not just the voice that makes sound through your throat, but the voice of your soul, a tone, a truth, a divine song that lives in the marrow of your being. Before the world told you who to be, before you learned to perform, to please, to protect yourself, you lived in the purity of that voice. You sang your truth without hesitation. You laughed without apology. You wept without shame. You moved through the world like light, unfiltered, unbroken, unafraid. And then something shifted. It didn't happen all at once. The silencing comes slowly, subtly. One moment, you are coloring outside the lines, and someone says, stay inside them. Another moment, you are dancing freely in the kitchen, and someone calls it too much. Another moment, you speak your truth raw, unrefined, honest, and someone flinches, turns away, or worse, withdraws their love. And so you begin to shrink. Not because you want to, but because you think you have to be safe, to be liked, to be accepted, to belong. You begin to trade authenticity for approval. You start sculpting a self that will be digestible to the world, forgetting that your soul was never meant to be swallowed whole by someone else's comfort zone. You learn to wear masks so well that even your own reflection forgets the face underneath. You silence the parts of you that are too bold, too loud, too intuitive, too passionate. You swallow your truths like bitter seeds and call it maturity. You learn to dim the divine fire that once lit up your spirit, afraid that its brilliance will burn someone else's eyes. But the truth, the real, holy, undeniable truth is this. You were never meant to be edited. You were meant to be expressed. You were never meant to perform for belonging. You were meant to embody the divine. You see, there is no version of peace that requires you to betray your inner voice. There is no true acceptance worth having if it demands the rejection of your soul. There is no lasting joy that comes from hiding your light to comfort another's shadow. And so I invite you here and now, in this sacred moment of remembrance, to reclaim the voice you silenced to be accepted. Not because you are trying to be rebellious, but because you are ready to be real. Because your silence has cost you your wholeness. Because your compliance has come at the price of your aliveness. Because pretending to be someone you're not is a slow spiritual death, and your soul did not come here to die that way. You came here to live fully, loudly, freely, divinely. And that begins by listening for the sound beneath the silence, the whisper of the self, you buried beneath politeness, perfectionism, and the desperate need to be loved. That voice, it never left. It's been waiting for you to choose it over them, waiting for you to realize that you are not here to be liked, you are here to be light, waiting for you to fall in love with your own truth more than you fear their rejection. That voice is your soul, and it speaks not in fear, but in freedom. Not in conformity, but in courage, not in performance, but in presence. And when you listen to it, something ancient and holy awakens in you, a remembrance of your original self, uncorrupted by ego, untouched by shame. When you speak from this place, even if your words tremble, the universe stands still to hear you. Because your voice, your real voice, is not just yours. It is God speaking through form. It is the divine echo of the infinite. It is the breath of the Creator finding its way back through your lungs. And that voice was never meant to be silenced. Not for love, not for approval, not for safety, not even for survival. Because what you silence to survive, you must one day resurrect to live. Let today be that resurrection. Let this moment be the quiet revolution of reclaiming your voice. Let the walls you built for acceptance become doors through which your truth re-enters the world. You do not need to scream. You do not need to fight. You simply need to stop apologizing for existing. Speak. Even if your voice shakes, live. Even if you are misunderstood, express. Even if no one claps, because the reward of reclaiming your voice is not applause, it is alignment. It is the joy of no longer splitting yourself to be tolerated. It is the peace of coming home to yourself without permission or explanation. You are not here to be a puppet pulled by invisible strings of societal expectation. You are not here to be a mannequin dressed in acceptable opinions. You are not here to be a mirror reflecting what others want to see. You are here to be a portal through which the divine experiences itself raw, real, radiant, and that requires your voice. Not the voice the world trained you to use, but the voice that was born with you, the one that knows things before your mind catches up, the one that feels truth in your bones, the one that sings even when your lips are closed. Yes, that voice. It is time to unmute your spirit, because what you suppress does not disappear. It becomes suffering. It becomes anxiety. It becomes resentment. It becomes a quiet ache that whispers, there's more, and there is more. More of you to be lived, more truth to be spoken, more light to be released. You are not too much. You are not too loud. You are not too sensitive. You are not too anything. You are simply returning to your original design, the unedited soul, before the world asks you to shrink. And the world needs that version of you. Not because it will make everyone comfortable, but because it will make you whole. You did not come here to be accepted by the world. You came here to accept yourself so deeply that the world has no choice but to meet you at your level of truth. And if it doesn't, let it fall away. Let it dissolve. Let it exit. Because anything you had to betray yourself to keep was never aligned with your destiny. Reclaim your voice and watch as what is meant for you begins to recognize you again. There is a sacred intelligence within you that has never forgotten who you truly are. It has watched patiently from behind your compromises and beneath your politeness. It has witnessed the moments when you nodded in agreement to things that bruised your spirit. It has felt your hesitation when your truth rose like a wave only to be swallowed again by the fear of what others might think. But even then, it never judged you. It simply waited. Waited like the moon waits for night, knowing it will inevitably rise, because your truth cannot be erased, only postponed. And postponement is not peace. It is a slow erosion of authenticity, a wearing away of the divine pattern you came here to live. Every time you choose comfort over clarity, something ancient within you tightens. Not because you failed, but because your soul came here to expand. And contraction, though familiar, is not your home. There comes a moment, quiet but undeniable, when the ache of not living your truth becomes louder than the fear of being seen. That moment is not a breakdown, it is a breakthrough. It is the soul breaking through the concrete of conditioning, gasping for the air of its own expression. It is not the end of you, it is the return. And when you begin to return to your voice, it does not arrive all at once. It is not a sudden explosion. It is a gentle unfolding, like the first breath after holding it too long. Like a melody you forgot you knew, softly playing behind the noise of other people's expectations. You do not need to shout to reclaim it. You need only to listen, to make space, to remember. The voice you silenced is not angry with you. It is wise. It is patient. It knows why you hid. It knows why you traded expression for safety. It knows what you were trying to protect. And yet, it also knows you are ready now. Not because the world will approve of your authenticity, but because your soul can no longer survive its absence. When you begin to speak from this place, your words carry more than sound. They carry presence. They carry clarity. They carry the weightlessness of truth that no longer needs validation. And it is not just your life that changes the frequency of your being, shifts the room around you. You begin to realize that authenticity is not just a gift to yourself. It is a permission slip to others. The more you live out loud, the more you liberate those around you. Not because you convince them, but because you remind them of what they forgot inside themselves. Your reclamation becomes a reflection. Your voice becomes a mirror. And in that mirror, others begin to see the outlines of their own silenced truths waiting to be set free. But be prepared. Not everyone will celebrate your return to yourself. Some have learned to love only the mask. They have built a relationship with your silence, not your essence. And when you begin to speak, to stretch, to glow, they may shrink back. That is not a sign to stop. That is a sign to continue, because the people meant for you will never require you to disappear to be loved. True connection cannot be built on half-truths and rehearsed performances. It is forged in the fire of vulnerability, in the courage to say, this is who I am, without the edits. That kind of connection cannot be lost because it was never earned through compromise. It was revealed through honesty. You may think reclaiming your voice means becoming louder, but often it means becoming more honest. Not louder, just clearer. Not more forceful, just more aligned. You begin to speak less to be heard and more to be real. You no longer throw your truth at the world like a weapon, but offer it as a light, steady, unwavering, enough. And even when the world resists, even when the silence around you feels deafening, your voice continues to rise, not from the throat, but from the soul. And in that sacred rising, you begin to realize something profound. You were never truly afraid of rejection. You were afraid of remembering how powerful your voice actually is. Because when you reclaim the voice you silenced, you do more than speak differently. You live differently, you choose differently, you love differently. You are no longer content with proximity that requires pretense. You seek depth, resonance, realness. You seek the sacred because you have become it. You begin to walk differently, not in arrogance, but in alignment. Not in performance, but in presence. Not in the need to prove, but in the knowing that your existence is already proof of something divine. Your truth becomes your compass. Your soul becomes your script. And the world, once terrifying, becomes a stage on which you no longer perform, but create. There is no greater revolution than a human being who stops performing and starts living. No greater rebellion than to love yourself out loud. No greater power than the soul finally speaking in its native tongue, unfiltered, unashamed, unafraid. And the miracle is this: you were never waiting for the world to give you permission. You were waiting for yourself to stop apologizing, to stop shrinking, to stop translating your spirit into something safer. To stop rehearsing lines that were never yours to begin with. This is the moment you become real again. Not the version of you that gained applause. Not the version that fit the mold. Not the version that adapted to survive. But the version that burns with the original flame of your being. When you live from that fire, something holy happens. You begin to see the divine in everything. You hear the voice of God not only in Scripture, but in your own intuition. You feel grace not only in temples, but in your breath. You experience freedom not as escape, but as embodiment. And that voice, the one you silenced, becomes your guide. It does not scream. It does not argue. It does not explain itself to those who do not wish to understand. It simply radiates. It simply exists. It simply is. And in that isness, you find the peace you've been seeking in every external approval. You realize that you were never broken, only buried. Never lost, only waiting. Never voiceless, only quieted. You were always here. And now you are home. When the voice of your truth returns, it doesn't demand the world bow before it. It doesn't need to. Its presence alone realigns the atmosphere. It changes the way you walk into a room, not with dominance, but with rootedness. Not with superiority, but with sovereignty. Because you're no longer performing to be seen. You're already grounded in the truth that you are worthy, with or without applause, with or without agreement, with or without anyone's understanding. And isn't that the liberation your soul has longed for? Not to be louder, but to be unafraid. Not to be more palatable, but to be real. Not to blend in, but to finally belong not to them, but to yourself. Because self-belonging is the beginning of every miracle. It is the threshold through which all healing walks. And it begins not with changing who you are, but with remembering who you were before you were asked to hide. You see, every time you silenced yourself to make others comfortable, you planted a seed of resentment in the garden of your spirit. And now the weeds have grown wild, but they are not your enemy. They are your signal. A signal that says, it's time to clear the field. It's time to replant what is true. It's time to stop tending to the expectations of others and start watering the truth of your own soul. And the truth is not always clean. It's not always neat. Sometimes it's messy, emotional, inconvenient. But truth is not supposed to be convenient. It's supposed to be liberating. And sometimes liberation comes with shaking. Sometimes it comes with shedding. Sometimes it comes with solitude. But it always comes with peace. The peace of knowing you're no longer negotiating your identity. The peace of knowing you're no longer censoring your spirit. The peace of knowing that the sacred frequency of your soul is no longer being muffled beneath the noise of trying to be acceptable. You were not made to be acceptable. You were made to be alive, fully, radically, unapologetically. And when you reclaim your voice, you don't just speak differently, you become different. You start listening not to the world's commands, but to your inner knowing. You stop chasing validation and begin standing in vibration. You begin choosing people, spaces, and purposes that don't require you to edit your being. And in doing so, you become a living prayer, an embodiment of divine remembrance. The world may not always know what to do with someone who lives like this, but you will. You'll know. You'll feel it in your bones, in your breath, in the stillness between your words that you finally return to yourself. And that return is the most sacred journey you will ever take. Not to a place, but to a presence. Not to a role, but to your realness. Not to an identity, but to your essence. Your essence is not what others say about you. It's not your title. It's not your role in the family or society. Your essence is the eternal fire within you that knows, I am. I am not what I do. I am not what they expect. I am not what I've been told. I am what I am, and that is enough. You do not need a platform to speak from your truth. You need permission from no one but your own heart. And when your heart opens its mouth, the universe listens. Because when you speak from alignment, your voice echoes in realms you cannot see. You become a vessel for something greater. Your words begin to heal, not because they're perfect, but because they're real. The child in you who was once silenced starts to breathe again. The parts of you that were punished for being different begin to dance again. The versions of you that were buried under layers of performance and pain start rising, radiant and whole, ready to live again. This is not a rebellion, it's a rebirth. And you are the midwife of your own becoming. There will be days when the old silence tries to return, when fear knocks softly, pretending to be safety, when you'll be tempted to go back into the box just to feel loved. But remember this, false love requires you to abandon yourself. Real love asks you to return, and returning is always louder than retreating, even when no one else hears it. So when the old voices whisper, tone it down, you will whisper back, I was not born to be an echo. When they say, don't be so emotional, you will smile and say, emotion is the language of the divine. When they say, you've changed, you will answer, yes, I've remembered. Because the path of remembering always looks like rebellion to those who've forgotten. And still, you walk it with grace, with clarity, with the unshakable knowing that your voice is not too much, it is medicine. Medicine for the soul that starved in silence. Medicine for the heart that forgot how to beat freely. Medicine for the world that has forgotten the sound of authenticity. And every time you speak from this space, not perform but speak, you offer that medicine to others. Some will turn away. That's okay. Medicine doesn't always taste sweet, but others will weep. Others will awaken. Others will finally hear their own voice calling from the depths saying, if they can speak, so can I. And that is the miracle of your return. It is never just yours. Your voice becomes the tuning fork of a greater harmony. Your courage becomes the crack in someone else's cage. Your authenticity becomes the permission they didn't know they were waiting for. You begin to see you didn't lose your voice, you loaned it to fear, to approval, to control. And now you are calling it back with reverence, with certainty, with love. And when you call it back, it does not come alone. It brings with it your power, your intuition, your freedom, your divinity. Because your voice was never just about words, it was always the portal to your wholeness. And as that wholeness returns, something within you softens, not because you've become weak, but because you've become true. You are no longer fighting to be heard in a world that doesn't listen. You are finally listening to yourself. And that, in the deepest spiritual sense, is all you ever truly needed. It was never about volume. It was never about attention. It was always about truth. The truth that had been living inside of you all along, pressed down beneath layers of politeness, self-doubt, conditioning, and fear. The truth that once scared you because if you lived it, it might mean losing people. But now you understand, if your truth cost you someone, they were never really with you. They were with your silence. And how sacred is it to know that you no longer need to wear that silence as your disguise? The world has taught you to trade authenticity for approval, but your soul has always known the cost. The fatigue you've felt is not just from doing too much, it's from being too little of who you really are. There is no exhaustion like the exhaustion of pretending. There is no ache like the ache of hiding. And there is no freedom like the moment you stop. Stop hiding. Stop apologizing. Stop morphing into someone smaller just to fit inside the spaces others have carved for you. You were never meant to fit, you were meant to expand. You were never meant to be agreeable, you were meant to be aligned. You were never meant to be a reflection of someone else's comfort, you were meant to be a revelation of your own truth. And that truth may not be welcome everywhere, but it will feel like home within you. You'll begin to see that the places where your truth isn't safe are not sacred. They are assignments you've outgrown. They are invitations to return inward, not reasons to retreat again into silence. Every environment that asks you to abandon your voice is simply showing you where you no longer need to go. So you stop seeking to belong to rooms that were never built with your soul in mind. You stop trying to be loved for a version of yourself that doesn't exist. You stop auditioning, and in that stopping, you begin living. You begin waking up differently. Not rushing into the day to prove something, but rising with reverence for the sacred task of being yourself. You begin walking into conversations not with the fear of being misunderstood, but with the peace of being honest. You begin releasing the need to be right and embracing the joy of being real. And when you are real, you are magnetic. Not to everyone, but to the ones who matter. The ones who see your voice not as a threat, but as a mirror. The ones who meet your truth with presence, not resistance. The ones who remind you that your sacred sound belongs not because they approve of it, but because it is part of the symphony of existence itself. The world has enough echoes. It's craving originals. And you, in your truth, your light, your voice, are an original note in the divine orchestra of this life. You don't need to harmonize with distortion. You need only to vibrate with clarity. Your clarity is your offering. Your voice is your gift. And that gift does not need to be wrapped in perfection. It simply needs to be real. Because when you speak from the place of inner alignment, there is a resonance, not in the ears, but in the hearts of others. The words may fall from your lips, but their true source is the soul. And the soul speaks a language that transcends approval. You begin to live not from script, but from source. Not from expectation, but from essence. Not from what is safe, but from what is sacred. This is what it means to reclaim your voice. To no longer filter your light through the lens of other people's comfort. To no longer barter your expression for acceptance. To no longer wait for someone else to say, it's okay. Because now, finally, you are the one who says, I am safe to be me. And with that declaration, the world changes. Not always externally, but profoundly within. You begin to remember that your voice is not just your own, it is the breath of the infinite moving through form. It is the echo of the divine speaking itself into existence again and again through you. And when you deny it, you don't just silence yourself, you muffle a piece of the universe. You are not just reclaiming your voice for your own healing. You are reclaiming it for the healing of everything. Because your truth creates space for truth. Your authenticity liberates more than just your soul. It becomes a ripple, a vibration, a song that invites other souls to join in. And that is what the world is truly starving for. Not more noise, but more truth. Not more followers, but more leaders of the soul. Not more conformity, but more courageous beings who dare to be exactly who they are, loudly, lovingly, luminously. And you, dear one, are that being. You are not returning to your voice for validation. You are returning for liberation. Not just yours, but ours. And now, here you are, standing at the threshold of everything you silenced. Not broken, but breaking through. Not wounded, but wide open. Not lost, but arriving to the home within yourself that was never gone, only waiting to be remembered. This moment is not the beginning, nor is it the end. It is the great return, the divine reunion between your inner truth and your outer life. The voice you buried has become the key to your liberation, and you now hold it in your hands not as a weapon, but as a compass, and with it you no longer need to fight. You only need to follow. Follow the truth that no longer asks, will they approve? Follow the stillness that no longer begs for applause. Follow the knowing that says you belong not when you're perfect, but when you're present. Because the journey was never about becoming anything. It was about unbecoming the noise, unlearning the stories, unraveling the shame, until only the truth remained whole, holy, and humming with life. You may be tempted to ask, what now? But the better question is, who am I without the silence? And the answer is not something you will find in books or mirrors or voices outside yourself. The answer is what you are becoming as you speak, as you breathe, as you reclaim the space your soul always deserved. You are no longer just someone navigating the world. You are someone creating it from within. Your voice is not a reaction. It is a revelation. It does not shout over the noise, it outshines it. You are not a performer now. You are a presence. A light so rooted in its source that it no longer flickers in the wind of other people's opinions. And in this presence, everything transforms. You begin to walk differently, not for attention, but from alignment. You begin to love differently, not from need, but from fullness. You begin to choose differently, not to avoid discomfort, but to honor truth. You realize that being accepted by others means nothing if it costs you acceptance of yourself. You no longer need to mold yourself to fit. You no longer try to shrink into someone's comfort zone. You see now, clearly, irrevocably, that anything that requires the betrayal of your voice is a detour, not a destiny. There will still be days of doubt. That's not failure, that's healing. There will still be moments when the old silence tries to seduce you. That's not regression, that's memory. But now, you are different. Now, you recognize the voice of truth even when it whispers. Now, you honor the sacredness of your own yes and the holiness of your no. Now, you live from the inside out, not because it's easy, but because it's the only path that doesn't cost your soul. And what a life that becomes. Not a perfect life, not always a comfortable life, but a true one. And in the end, when all the performances fall away, when all the costumes and roles dissolve, what will remain is not how well you were liked, but how fully you lived as yourself. Your voice is your divine signature. It is the mark your soul makes on the world. It is not here to please. It is here to free. And the moment you trust that, you step into the most sacred kind of power, the power of a human being who no longer needs to be anything but whole. So walk on. Speak gently. Speak boldly. Speak honestly. Not to be heard, but to be healed. And in that healing, may others remember their own voice, the one they silenced, the one they buried, the one they are now being called to reclaim. Because the world doesn't need another echo. It needs your truth. And your truth has waited long enough. Welcome home. Welcome back to the sound of your soul. Welcome back to the fullness of your being. You are not just allowed to speak, you were born to. Now speak. And let the world remember what it means to be real. Imagine waking up one day to find that your wildest dreams have become your reality. The life you've always yearned for, the abundance, you've craved the love, you've longed for all of it manifested before your very eyes. What if I told you that this is not merely a fantasy, but a truth that lies dormant? Within you, waiting to be awake in the universe, is not some distant, unresponsive entity. It is a living, breathing force that is constantly listening to the whispers of your soul. And once you start asking the universe in the right way, with unwavering faith and conviction, your desires are not just hurt, but they're already done. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract abundance, love, and success, while others struggle to make ends meet? The answer lies in the power of your thoughts, your beliefs, and your emotions. They're all powerful frequencies that shape your reality. When you learn to harness this power, when you learn to communicate with the universe in its own language, you become the master of your own destiny. But here's the catch. Most people ask from a place of lack, from a place of doubt and fear. They beg and plead with the universe, hoping for scraps of mercy. But the universe does not respond to desperation. It responds to faith. It responds to the unshakable belief that what you desire is already yours. So how do you ask the universe in a way that guarantees results? How do you tap into the limitless abundance that is your birthright? The answer lies in the power of your imagination, love, assumption. And the inevitability of manifest your imagination is the creative force within you, the tool that allows you to shape your reality when you visualize your desires with vivid detail and unwavering faith. You are sending a powerful signal to the universe. You are telling it that what you desire has already done the law. Assumption states that whatever you assume to be true, the universe will make real. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, when you live in the end result of your desires, you are aligning yourself the frequency of abundance. You are telling the universe that you are ready to receive, that you are worthy of your dreams. And here's the best part. Once you start asking the universe, like this manifestation becomes inevitable, the universe will conspire to bring your desires to fruition, to align the people, circumstances, and events necessary to make your dreams a reality. All you need to do is trust the process, to let go of doubt and fear, and to maintain unwavering faith in the inevitability of your success. So my friends, I invite you to embrace this practice with every fiber of your being, to wake up each day with a sense of excitement and anticipation, knowing that your desires are on their way to cultivate a deep sense of gratitude for the blessings in your life, even before they have manifested, to surrender to the perfect timing and unfolding of the universe, trusting that everything is happening for your highest good. And above all, I invite you to remember the truth of who you are. You are not just a physical being confined to the limitations of this earthly realm. You are an infinite, eternal, powerful creator with the ability to shape your reality in any way you choose. Your divine spark of the universe itself is a unique expression of the infinite intelligence that pervades all things. As you go forth from this moment, carry this truth with you. Let it be your guiding light, your North Star, your unwavering conviction. Know that you are worthy of your desires, that you're capable of manifesting miracles, that you are loved and supported by the universe in every moment. And when challenges arise, when doubts creep in, when the journey seems long and uncertain, remember the words of the great mystic Rumi: what you seek is seeking you. Your desires are not some distant, unattainable fantasy. They are the very essence of your being, the call of your soul. Trust in their inevitability and let them guide you home. So my friends, go forth with faith, with conviction, with unwavering belief in the power of your dreams, manifest miracles, create magic, and live a life beyond your wildest imagination. The universe is waiting for you, cheering you on, conspiring in your faith. All you have to do is say yes, yes to your desires. Yes to your dreams. Yes to the infinite possibility that lies within you. Yes to a life of joy, abundance, and limitless potential. Yes to the magic and miracles of the universe. Now and always, thank you for joining me on this journey of manifestation. May your dreams take like. May your desires become reality, and may your life be a living testament to the power of your faith. The universe is yours, my friends. Claim it, own it, and let it lead you to a life beyond your wildest dreams. But every step along the bridge of incidents is necessary. Every challenge, every setback, every unexpected twist and turn is part of the divine plan. It's all leading you closer to your desires, even when it doesn't feel like it. The key to navigating the bridge of incidents is to trust the process, to surrender to the journey, even when you can't see the way forward, to have faith that the universe is conspiring in your favor, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. Trusting the process means letting go of your attachment to the outcome. It means releasing your grip on the how and when of manifestation and allowing the universe to guide you. It means being open to the unexpected, to the miracles and synchronicities that show up along the way. When you trust the process, you open yourself up to the magic of manifestation. You allow the universe to work its wonders to bring you what you desire in ways that are beyond your wildest dreams. You become a co-creator with the universe, a partner in the dance of manifestation. The trusting the process isn't always easy. It requires a deep level of faith, a willingness to surrender to the unknown. It requires you to let go of your need for control. You need to have everything figured out. It requires you to embrace the mystery, to trust that everything is unfolding in perfect divine timing. One way to cultivate trust in the process is through the practice of gratitude. Gratitude is the act of acknowledging and appreciating the blessings in your life even before your desires have manifested. When you practice gratitude, you shift your focus from lack to abundance, from scarcity to sufficiency. You train your mind to see the good in every situation. To find the silver lining in every cloud, gratitude is also a powerful way to align yourself with the vibration of your desires. When you feel grateful for what you want, even before it is manifested, you are sending a clear signal to the universe that you are ready to receive your gift. You are telling the universe that you trust in its abundance. Way to cultivate trust in the process is through the practice of surrender. Surrender is the act of letting go of your attachment to the outcome of releasing your need to control every aspect of your life. When you surrender, you are not giving up on your desires. You are giving them over to a higher power, to the infinite wisdom of the universe. Surrender requires a deep level of trust, the willingness to let go and allow the universe to guide you. It means being open to the unexpected, to the twists and turns. Along the bridge of incidents, it means trusting that everything is happening for your highest good. Even when it doesn't make sense in the moment, when you cultivate trust, in the process, when you practice gratitude and surrender manifestation becomes effortless. Your desires flow to you with ease and grace, and your life becomes a living testament to the power of your faith. You become a magnet for miracles, conduit for the abundance of the universe as we come to the end of this journey. I want to remind you of the incredible power that lies within you. The power to create your reality, to manifest your deepest desires, to live a life beyond your wildest dreams. This power is not some distance unattainable, for it is the very essence of who you are. It is the birthright of every human being on this planet. Throughout this speech, we've explored the key principles manifest and the power of imagination, the law of assumption, the art of asking. We've discovered that the universe is not some separate entity, but a live, breathing extension of our own consciousness, that our thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions create our reality. And that by aligning ourselves with the vibration of our desires, we can manifest miracles on demand. But the journey of manifestation is not a one-time event, it is a lifelong practice. It requires a daily commitment to aligning your thoughts, beliefs, and actions with the reality you want to create. It requires a willingness to let go of limiting beliefs, to embrace the unknown, to trust in the perfect timing of the universe. And yet, the rewards of this practice are beyond measure when you live from a place of faith and conviction, when you trust in the inevitability of your desires. Your life becomes a living testament to the power of manifestation. You attract people, circumstances, and opportunities that support your vision. You experience a level of joy, abundance, and fulfillment that most people only dream of. Conviction is the unshakable belief in the truth of your desires, is the inner knowing that what you want is already yours, that it's your divine right to experience abundance, love. When you ask with conviction, you are not just making a request, you are making a command. You are telling the universe that this is what you expect, that this is what you demand. You are not asking for permission. You are claiming your birthright. But conviction isn't just about the words you speak. It's about the energy. Behind those words, it's about the feeling of certainty, of unwavering faith that infuses every cell of your being. When you ask with conviction, you're not just speaking your desires. You're becoming the vibrational much for what you want to experience. The third step in the art of asking is to let go of doubt and fear. Doubt and fear are the enemies of manifestation. They are the voices in your head that tell you it's not possible, that you're not worthy, that you'll never have what you want. They are the limiting beliefs that keep you stuck in a cycle of lack and limitations. But here's the thing, doubt and fear are just thoughts. They're not the truth of who you are. You have the power to choose your thoughts, to choose your beliefs, to choose your assumptions. When you let go of doubt and fear, you create space for faith and conviction to take root. One powerful way to let go of doubt and fears through the practice of surrender. Surrender is the act of releasing your attachment to the outcome, of trusting that the universe has your back. Even when you can't see the way forward, when you surrender, you're not giving up on your desires, giving them to a higher power, to the infinite wisdom of the universe. Surrender requires a deep level of trust, a willingness to let go of control and allow the universe to guide you. It requires you to release your grip on the how and when of manifestation and to trust that everything is unfolding in perfect divine timing. The final step in the art of asking is to align your thoughts and actions with your desires. Manifestation is not just about asking. It's about becoming coming. It's about aligning every aspect of your being with the reality you want to create. This means thinking thoughts that match your desires, speaking words that affirm your worth, abundance, and taking actions that move you closer to your goals. It means living as if your desires are already a reality even before they manifest in your physical world. When you align your thoughts and actions with your desires, you become a magnet for miracles. You attract people, circumstances, opportunities that support your vision. You create a life that is a living testament to the power of your faith and conviction. So my friends, I invite you to master the art of asking. Ask with faith, with conviction, and with unwavering belief in the truth of your desires. Let go of without and feared and surrender to the perfect timing and unfolding of the universe. Align your thoughts and actions with your desires and become the vibrational match for the reality you want to create. When you do, miracles become commonplace. The universe conspires to bring your desires into manifest. Life becomes a living testament to the power of your asking. Master the art of asking and watch as your wildest dreams become your everyday reality. When you master the art of asking, when you align your thoughts, beliefs, and actions with the reality of your desires, manifestation becomes inevitable. It's not a question of if your desires will manifest, but when the universe is always listening, always responding to the vibration you are offering, and when you offer a vibration of faith, conviction, and unwavering belief, the universe has no choice but to deliver. But how exactly does manifestation work? How does the universe take your desires and turn them into physical reality? The answer lies in the concept of the bridge of incidents. The bridge of incidents is the series of events, people, and circumstances that the universe orchestrates to bring your desires into manifestation. It's the way the universe connects the dots, aligns the pieces of the puzzle, and creates the perfect conditions for your desires to come to fruition. When you ask for something, the universe immediately begins to arrange the bridge of incidents. It starts to move people and circumstances into place to create opportunities and open doors that will lead you to your desired out. It's like a cosm game of dominoes where each piece falls perfectly into place, creating a chain reaction of manifestation. But here's the thing. The bridge of incidents doesn't always look the way you expect it to sometimes. It takes you on a journey that seems unrelated to your desires. Sometimes it brings you challenges and obstacles that you must overcome. Sometimes it requires you to take leaps of faith and trust in the unknown. No. Hoping, wishing, or striving for your desire. Instead, you're living as if they're already a reality, as if they have already manifested in your life. This is a subtle but profound shift in consciousness. Most people spend their lives in a state of wanting a feeling like they're lacking something they believe that they will be happy when they finally achieve their goals, when they finally manifest their desires. But the truth is that state of wanting only perpetuates more wanting. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of lack and limitation. The law of assumption you to break free from that cycle, to step into the reality of your desires right now. It invites you to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, to embody the energy of abundance, love, and success, even before it shows up in your physical reality. So how to do that? You live in the end. Even when your current circumstances don't match your desired reality, the key is persistence. It's about maintaining the state of your wish fulfillment, even in the face of doubts, fear, or setbacks. When you first start practicing the law of assumption, it can feel uncomfortable, even delusional. Your mind will try to convince you that it's not real, that you're just fooling yourself. But the more you persist in maintaining the state of your wish fulfilled, the more natural it becomes. You start to see evidence of your desire manifesting in your life, and your faith grows stronger. One powerful way to maintain the state of yours fulfilled is through affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that you repeat to yourself either out loud or silently that reinforce your desired reality. For example, if your desire is to manifest financial abundance, you might repeat affirmations like, I am a magnet for money. Abundance flows to me easily and effortlessly. I'm worthy of all the wealth and prosperity I desire. By repeating these affirmations consistently, you are reprogrammed in your subconscious mind to align with the reality of your desires. You're shifting your assumptions, your beliefs, and your inner conversations to match the frequency of abundance. Another way to maintain the state of your wish fulfilled. Visualization, as we discussed earlier. Visualization is a powerful tool for engaging your imagination and aligning yourself with the frequency of your desires. When you visualize your desired reality with vivid detail and emotion, you are sending a clear signal to the universe that this is what you want to experience. But the key to effective visualization is to engage all of your senses, not just your visual sense imagined, not just what your desired reality looks like or what it feels like, smells like, tastes like, and sounds like. The more fully you engage your senses, the more real your visualization becomes to your subconscious mind. The law of assumption is not just a tool for manifestation. It is a way of being. When you live from a place of assumption, you are no longer a victim of your circumstances. You become the creator of your reality, master of your destiny. You recognize that your assumptions, your beliefs, and your inner conversations have the power to shape your experience of life. And you choose to align them with the reality of your desires. Now that we've explored the power of imagination and the law of assumption, let's dive into the art of asking. Asking is the bridge between your desires and their manifestation. It's the way you communicate with the universe, the way you declare your intentions, and set the wheels of creation in motion. But here's the thing. Most people don't know how to ask. They ask from a place of lack of desperation or fear. They beg and plead with the universe, hoping for scraps of mercy. But the universe doesn't respond to desperation. It responds to faith. It responds to the unwavering conviction that what you desire is already your soul. How do you ask in a way that guarantees results? The first step is to ask with faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When you ask with faith, you're not hoping or wishing for your desires to manifest. You are declaring that they are already done. You are aligning yourself with the reality of your desires even before they show up in your physical world. This kind of faith requires a deep trust in the universe and knowing that your desires are not just possible but inevitable. It requires you to release your attachment to the how and when of manifestation and to surrender to the perfect timing and unfolding of the universe. The second step in the art of asking is to ask with conviction. So my friends, are you ready to have your world turned upside down? Are you ready to experience the limitless abundance that is your birthright? Then join me on this journey of manifestation as we explore the art of asking the universe in a way that guarantees results your wildest dreams are about to become your everyday reality. The power of your imagination is the key to unlocking the limitless potential within you. It is the creative force that allows you to shape your reality, to bring your desires into manifestation. When you harness the power of your imagination, you become the architect of your own destiny. But what exactly is imagination? And how does it work? Imagination is the ability to create mental images, to visualize scenarios and possibilities that don't yet exist in the physical world. It is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, the link between the infinite potential of the universe and the tangible reality of your life. When you imagine something with vivid detail and unwavering faith, you're sending a powerful signal to the universe. You are telling it that what you desire is already done, that it is already yours. The universe doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It simply responds to the frequency of your thoughts and emotions. So how do you cultivate the power of your imagination? The first step is to get clear on what you truly desire. What does your ideal life look like? What kind of relationships, experiences, and abundance? Do you want to attract the most specific and detailed your vision? The more powerful your imagination becomes once you have a clear vision. The next step is to engage your senses. Imagine not just the visual aspects of your desire, but the sounds, smells, tastes, and textures as well. The more fully you engage your senses, the more real your imagination becomes to your subconscious mind. For example, if your desire is to manifest your dream home, imagine yourself walking through front door, feel the texture of the doorknob in your hand, the sensation, the floor beneath your feet, the aroma of your favorite scent, wafting through the air. Hear the laughter and conversation of your loved ones echoing through the rooms. The more vividly you imagine, the more powerfully you align yourself with the frequency of your desire. But the power of imagination goes beyond just visualizing your desires. It also involves assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. In other words, it means living as if your desires are already a reality even before they manifest in the physical world. This is where the law of assumption comes into play. The law of assumption states that whatever you assume to be true, the universe will make real when you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You are aligning yourself with the frequency of abundance, love, and success. You are telling the universe that you are ready to receive, that you are worthy of your dream. So how do you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled? One powerful technique is to practice gratitude in advance instead of waiting for your desires to manifest before you. Feel grateful, start expressing gratitude. Now, for what you know is on its way, say things like, "Thank you, universe, for my dream home. I am so grateful to wake up every morning in a space that fills me with joy and inspiration." By expressing gratitude in advance, you are aligning yourself with the frequency of abundance and attracting more what you desire. Another technique is to act as if your desire is already a reality. If your desire is to manifest a loving relationship, start treating yourself with the love and respect you desire from a partner. Take yourself on dates, buy yourself flowers, and speak kindly to yourself in the mirror by embodying the energy of love. You attract more love into your life. The power of imagination is not just a tool for manifestation, it is a way of life. When you live from a place of imagination, you open yourself up to infinite possibilities. You become a magnet for American conduit for the limitless abundance of the universe. The law of assumption is a powerful principle that can transform your life in ways you never thought possible. It states that whatever you assume to be true, the universe will make real. In other words, your assumptions create your reality. Think about that for a moment. Your assumptions, your beliefs, your inner conversations, they all have the power to shape your experience of life. When you assume that you are worthy of love and abundance, the universe responds by bringing more love and abundance into your life. When you assume that you are capable of achieving your dreams, the universe comes to make those dreams a reality. But the law of assumption goes even deeper. that it's not just about assuming positive things, it's about living in the end, about embodying the feeling of your wish fulfilled when you live in the end.